Hi there, my name is Melissa McNeil. I am currently a family and consumer science teacher in a pretty good sized district in Colorado Springs. Um, a little history from me, I was actually born in Peru, and I moved to the States when I was about 5. So my first language was Spanish. Grew up in a very highly cultured, diverse family. Moved out to Colorado when I was about 13. And as I grew older, one of the trends that I noticed was that I really like to teach. I really enjoy educating. And I have 3 kids that probably get annoyed by me wanting to break everything down for them. I can see it in their eyes as they roll them. They're like, oh, here goes mom with her lectures. But it is a passion of mine. I really just enjoy teaching kids in general. And I've had that since I was probably about 13 or 14 years old when I started babysitting when I was even much younger than that. Um, Currently now, I have 3 kids. My husband and I have 3 kids. My husband is a techie guy. He's a director in a defense company and loves what he does. Um, and I have been in the education business since, well, let's see, 14 years. I taught 3 years. My first 2 years I taught PE. And then I decided to try out Spanish for a year, and yeah, it just wasn't really my thing. Then I took a little bit of time off from teaching in a local school because I had my second child, little boy, our second son, and decided to take about 5 years off. In that time, we also ended up having our third, and she's our daughter. So my oldest right now is 17, a very busy 17-year-old. We have a 13-year-old and now a 10-year-old. So during that little break I had, I decided to open up a preschool that I ran right from my house. Had my own curriculum. It was a great experience. Looking back, I realize that's really not what I really wanted to do, but it paid the bills and it allowed me to stay home with my kids for a few years until I picked up teaching again. So about 6 years ago, got back into subbing when my daughter went into kindergarten. So she kind of inspired me to get back into it as I was being a helper in her classroom and subbed for about 4 or 5 years when an opportunity came up at the local middle school. Um, my son started to attend middle school, and a teacher was given an opportunity to be an administrator, assistant principal over at another city. So she pretty much had to leave within the first month of starting school. So they were kind of in a pinch looking for somebody. I happened to be subbing a day when they were talking about who they needed to hire. And lo and behold, I listened and they said that pretty much the requirements were cooking and sewing and maybe a few life skills. So I thought, hey, I'll give it a shot. Um, as it turns out, the job that I have, which is a family science teacher, um, turned out to be kind of my passion. Before I acquired that position, I volunteered for an organization called Education for a Lifetime. And basically, what I did was went to all the schools, all the high schools that gave us the approval, and pretty much taught for a week long volunteer basis on sexual risk avoidance. So basically, we talked to kids about um, how to avoid risk and what choices you can make now to help you avoid the risk of sexually transmitted diseases or, in endangering your heart in emotional and physical ways. And so that was something that I was very passionate about. And I was kind of sad when I left it, but when I found out that the job that I had, or the position that I took, included that as part of my curriculum, I was tickled pink. So, needless to say, I'm doing what I love. I am teaching kids sewing and cooking, and but I also get to teach them life skills and making decisions and relationships and just a lot of fun things. I really enjoy what I'm doing. I started my um, building administration program before I got the job. And so I knew that long term, I wanted to be a building leader. But once I acquired this job, it let me take a step back and enjoy what I'm doing. And so that's what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to embrace what I have now as long as I can. I realize that being a building leader does require a lot of time and basically time away from my family. I understand that, and which is why I'm in absolutely no immediate rush to acquire a position. My daughter has one more year of elementary school, and so I'm going to just enjoy that time. And then once she picks up middle school, I think I will start maybe keeping my eye out for a dean position, something that doesn't require as much time, um, but that kind of gets me in the door. So that's my goal right now. So in about 2 years, I can see myself being a dean, or maybe even a curriculum instruction, helping teachers build their curriculum. Um, and in about 5 years, I can definitely see myself in full on in that dean position. And so that way I can just really get my foot in the door, learn about the administrative duties, learn about those responsibilities. 5 to 10 years from now, that's a long ways. It just doesn't seem that it's that close, but I know it'll come sooner than later. By then, all my kids will be pretty much gone. And so at that point, I can see myself being full on assistant principal. To be honest, I just do not have a desire to be a principal. Um, it's because I think I want to continue having those deeper relationships with students. And maybe in 10 years that might change, and I'm open to that. But for now, I see myself long term administrative or assistant principal. At my middle school, there's a position, assistant principal slash, excuse me, athletic director. So that I can definitely see because I have the sports background with my PE. I currently coach track, obviously not right now, but when I go back to teaching, coaching track is really a big passion of mine. I have a really good time. It gives me an opportunity to get to know the kids on a deeper level, on a different level. I'm not their teacher anymore, but I'm a coach and I'm a supporter, and they see me in a different light. So I can definitely see myself in that position as administrator. But again, that's about 10 years from now. As for why I'm seeking my master's is because I've always seen myself as being a leader. And with teaching, you can only do so much. There's not a whole lot under your control. And even as an administrator, that's kind of hard to gain. But I feel like as a building leader, I may have a little bit more influence over how things are dealt and maybe even help build a different matrix for what our current school has as far as discipline. Right now, our disciplinary methods are not the best, and I feel like kids are enabled a bit too much, maybe coddled even a little bit. And you have to take into consideration their history and their background, and there's some really sad cases, but at the same time, I think they need to learn to be held accountable as soon as possible. Otherwise, they end up going in the wrong direction pretty quickly. So, and lastly, I chose Fort Hays very carefully, actually. I did a lot of research and found that it had a lot of positive reviews. I liked that it was very virtual. It adapted to my family, and while it was challenging to find the time to complete all my assignments, obviously here I am almost at midnight completing my comprehensive exam. Um, it's it definitely helped me to adapt to my schedule, and I really learned that I could be self-disciplined. I was really a little nervous about that, learning the tools and trying to figure it all out, but pretty happy that I chose this route because it gave me a lot of freedom to dictate my schedule, and I could procrastinate if I absolutely needed to, or I could pace myself once I found the right tools to create that advanced schedule if I was able to. If the professors or if the teachers had that planned ahead of time, I was able to plan it. I hopefully that will give you a nice big picture of who I am and what my goals are. And I look forward to meeting with you all very shortly. Have a great night.